All right, and riggedy, what's going on, family out there? Spotify land one time, the OGs. How y'all doing out there today? Thank you. You know, I have to start off this way, right? Thank y'all for rocking with the podcast. We saw immediately, as soon as we had dropped an episode last time, how there was, viewership. Listening-ship, I guess, if you want to say it that way, right? Thank you, family, for rocking with your boy, right? We know that the topics that we talk on are, they're deep, they're uncomfortable, but we here at Different View Family are comfortably, right? We can live in that pocket. Since football season is well underway and everybody wears their own, the different teams' colors and all this kinds of stuff, we are readily aware, family, that we can be comfortably uncomfortable, right? We ain't got no problem with it. So here on this podcast, we talk about what is necessary, not always what is popular, right? Because what is popular sometimes is not always necessary, okay? With that said, welcome in us, right? A Different View family. Again, we said we're going to get away from the views. So again, a Different View family who believe in, love after, who seek for, who hunger, thirst for that, which is a different view. Family, welcome in. Today's topic, we haven't done it in a while. We're going to do a movie review. We got a couple of movies that are coming up on the back end of this year. Right, as we are in the, October, November, December, right? Yeah, so we're in the fourth quarter, as they say, right? We won't get into all the stuff that when you say fourth quarter, what that generates in the mind. However, family, we will tell you this, just speaking on terms of quarters as they use it in a financial sense. Keep your money in your pocket. Unless you are spending it to enrich yourself, keep your family. They're playing a very dangerous game out here where it comes with how much you get paid as compared to what they're doing with the prices. And we got mathematicians out here. This is just how I say it, that are sitting there crunching calculators looking like the Muppets, Ralph. With the floppy ears while he's playing the piano, or Kermit with them arms everywhere and stuff, or maybe Miss Piggy when she's whooping butt, you know what I'm saying? She kicking that ass and that hair flopping all over the place, right? We know about the Muppets, family. That's how mathematicians are out here trying to calculate to tell you how it ain't that bad. And everybody, family, the name of the game is to work you like a dog till you have very little to pass down after you are dead and gone from this planet. Okay, that's, you can put it on laziness. We can do all that kind of talking we do, family. This is the name of the game. These cats, you think they putting in work? They're not. You are. And that leads us into today's topic. Again, we'd say we're going to do a little movie review, right? Tron Ares. How many people seen Tron Ares, right? Leave it in the comments. Again, comments are the fuel in the engine to the machine. We're not scared of comments, family. People going to have different views, both in agreeance or disagreements. Again, what we ask is for folks to do it in a respectful manner. Can we do it, family, right? We know people out there don't. But can we do it, y'all? Can we leave with, saying what it is, right? Can we do it? And I believe we can. I mean, let's just keep that 100, right? We've always said that on this podcast. We're going to stand on that. People can talk to each other with a level of respect. We know that which is most divisive in this planet, in this reality, and in this earth has on purpose set there to be disrespectful. But you just got to take a stand, which is what you see in the movie Tron Ares, okay? Tron in and of itself is a story that deals with, again, whether you're talking behind the scenes of your computer, your car, whatever in imagination, right? Which is a powerful tool we've been given. What happens behind the scenes of the desk here in the different government buildings across this planet that we don't get involved in, which is why they screw us, is a battle family, and it's not on the people, it's on the thought process in the mind concerning how we deal with each other. That's what you have to watch out for. In these inner cities, you better be careful, and I could say it a different way, because this word is actually reserved for these kinds of folks. Okay? But you better watch out. Now, the way we like to say it, the do nothing, know nothing Negro. They know just enough. They don't know nothing, but they know, and we're all learning in knowledge. So this is not putting down on our brothers and sisters, but we calling out the wrong here, okay? Again, like we have said on this podcast, to be pro-black in any form or any culture of you are is not to be pro-jackass. Let that seep and sink in your heart and psyche. You can be for your people, but that does not mean you must stand up for the foolishness. That also includes what you believe in. So Muslims, you be okay calling out the mess. Christians, start calling out the mess. And if you're okay on this trip we get on about sexual irresponsibility that we say is sin, which both are one in the, don't go making divisions. Sexual irresponsibility is missing it, aka sin. Simple, plain language, family. That's how people speak in majority across this nation. We don't have no equivocal double speech, 3, 4, 5 words meaning different, looking the same but having different. We don't do that, right? The tribes of life here and different people groups on these planets, they talk like that. We don't, because we don't have to give ourselves an out, family. This is what it means. This is what it means, and then we go from there, right? So again, irresponsibility is most certainly missing it, okay? But it's not just sexual. So when the Christian starts getting on sexual, you make sure you start talking to them about financial stuff. They won't have too much to say. Because see, the church don't do what it did in Acts, which is support each other so no one lacks. That we ain't on that. And guess what? That is a life principle. So whether you believe in Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, Taoism, all of the isms, whatever entity, whatever it is, that belief is a foundational effect law throughout the planet. When we band together to help each other survive and thrive, guess what happens, family? Oh man, y'all, family, life is simple. People make it complicated. Please believe that. We stand on that on this podcast, right? When we thrive, when we help each other survive and thrive, family, what happens is that we survive and thrive. When we don't, all this mess you see is exactly what happens. Men blame women for their mistakes and vice versa, right? Me personally, I feel it's more in a response to what men are doing. If y'all want to keep talking about who's at the head of the table and the head of the house and the head of whatever, right? You the head of the car when we driving down to Disney World or whatever, man, like what whenever you believe you the head of, then we got to take the head of the responsibility. And right about that time period, proven over and over in history, that's where we drop the ball. And we got to make excuses on the kids, the dog, your boss, so on and so forth. This is different, family, than talking about the harms we are doing to each other. We like mixing it. And in the movie Tron Ares, you see this principle over and over and over. This kid done took over this is spoilers, so if y'all don't, I get it, right? If some people want to see this, then listen to this episode after you've seen the movie, right? This kid want to take over the family business, passed down. Now, I understand they're going with this narrative of the children, and while there's a serious trap to understand how you can take what's given to you improperly, understand that you learn this mess from your elders. It is twofold, family. Please, again, we have said some things that have been hard for people to hear. This is another one, family, that you must grasp a hold of while we learn and search each other. Understand that at the very least, 2 of these things here exist. One, when we do messed up stuff or good stuff, it is from what is internally inside a person. We do not discredit that here. But the other side, family, is what you learn externally. This is why we have an issue with education. That's why we got an issue with El Presidente wanting to mess around with the Department of Education, messing around with the venues by which we speak to each other, because this is how you learn, right? If life and death is in the power of the tongue, learning is life, the last I checked, or learning could be death, right? This is why we don't big up the again, shout out to West Coast, California and such one time, right? But when we talking about the Crip Walk, that's a death walk, family. So while it was cool to see Serena Williams do that last Super Bowl, which people gonna have a problem with this Super Bowl, because unfortunately, when the dark, brown, and tan skin tone folks get together, we talking historically now. We're not giving conjecture no more, right? We're not giving conspiracies. We don't do that mess. We talking about y'all study historical account, and anytime, again, the dark, brown, and tan skin tone folks get together, either you got infighting inside the group that breaks it apart, or you have an external, I'm telling you, this thing really repeats itself, or you have an external outside group that sows division amongst discord, as the Bible calls it, right? Like we like to do on this podcast. What your Bible says is that you must avoid and be careful of those who sow discord amongst people. We know brethren, and it's not just brethren, they're sisterin out here, right? Shout out to sisters one time. When we say sisters, we're not just, hey, come on now. We're not just talking about sisters like our black, right, dark skin toned, brown, we're talking the whole women family, right? Shout out to sisters, okay? These ladies standing on a square ain't taking no mess from either themselves, again, internally or externally, from men and other women and whoever, they boss, whatever. Shout out the sisters, right? Same thing with men. Family, you want to talk about what makes the lands of the Americas great. It is when you see family holding hands through the storms of life. That's what makes it all the families. Because again, the United States was built on family. Is another thing that you're going to see me do a lot more. I've already done it. We're going to continue because we really believe this to be the truth. You've got one group piggybacking off of another. So this is not the United States of America, technically, as they're saying it. This is just the United States. Unfortunately, this mess was built on these lands. See? Making sure that somebody else or other groups get a lot of money off the backs of somebody else. That's what was done on these lands. That is the United States. Which is why when you got storms and stuff, and shout out these different places that have gone through these horrible storms, and you're seeing these articles about what FEMA doing and ain't doing, family, that's the name of the game. You listen. You give them profit, you get little profit. That's how it works. In Tron Aries, they're messing around with military grade type stuff, right? Because again, this is all we know how to do is shoot, stab, blow up. At least over on Spotify, you can still say kill, I think, without everybody losing their mind. Again, family, when we talk about language, which we started, the base of this podcast was learning words and phrases. You look up, don't ever stop looking up what these fools is talking about, man. Study the definition that's coming from England, because this is how it looks. So Merriam-Webster, Oxford. We're going to get into a conversation one of these days here. Maybe we'll save it. This is some information I learned. Like I said, as I learn, we pass it along, family. That's the point. Right? And we ain't talking about, while passing along recipes and all that kind of stuff is cool, because we on cooking season, right? Folks is baking spooky cakes now. They'll be baking turkey cakes in a month or so, and then they'll be baking cookies for Santa the month after that, right? Okay? So recipes is cool. Maybe it's some healthier ones, right? You watch that movie Red One, I want to say either last year or year before, where Santa's skinny. Come on now with it. Talk to me, family. Or not skinny, where he's built and he's working out. Listen, there is a thing to talk about glorifying obesity, okay? But at the same point, do not allow that talk to take away from you as an individual who may be obese at the moment, right? Which we could get on the body mass index. We believe that thing is a bunch of mess. Each person, so you got to have an internal clock about yourself. Nobody is telling you that when it's hard for you to hit up a flight of steps. Okay, family, see again, drop the defenses. You let go of that stuff, you will reach higher heights in your mind. A powerful thing given to you by the Maker to help you do what's necessary in this life. As a statement that is out there, which is very, 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 very true. As a Christian, we understand where the power of this thing comes from. You know, we're just saying it from our perspective point of view, but we're not going to be disrespectful to others, right? When the phrase is said that all is the mind and the universe is mental, that thing was created by the mind of God, family, right? We're talking the maker, creator, designer, fashioner. The universe comes from the mind. The mind of minds, but the mind just the same. Look, on this world, do you know why it's okay for folks in inner cities to just go blowing away each other with a weapon of defense? Because that's what that's made for. Now, we understand at the same time, again, those who have grossness in the mind. Again, these are things you see in this movie, Tron, right? This is your boy's POV. You take it or leave it, right? We can either defend ourselves or hurt ourselves in these inner cities. While Donald Trump want to talk that mess, again, you tell me where the ghetto came from, I'll tell you it's made that way purposefully for you to die slowly or quickly in there. That's the point. You know, speaking on death, because you see that a lot in Tron Ares, is birth and rebirth, right? Jared Leto's character is able to be born and then reborn. That's how this kid who took over the family business of you know, manipulating this kind of stuff is able to do this thing. When you follow the movies throughout, it's just repeating the same kind of thing, right? Which I thought was cool. Again, family, people are going to say this thing is a bust. Please stop believing what you see these people rated as. Go watch it for yourself. Okay? So when you look on Fandango right now, that thing is sitting right around the mid to high 80s. When you look the opposite way, I want to say it's either through Rotten Tomatoes or one of them here, they got it rated at 50%. So everybody thinks it's a bust, etc., etc. Whether people want to compare it to budgets and all this kind of family, go watch it for yourself. If you don't have a cheap movie theater around where you're at and all that kind of thing, we understand. Maybe you want to wait till it hits streaming because it'll be on Disney. Just watch the movie, right? If you don't want to, it's your business, okay? But in this brother's messing around with the weapons of defense, I found it a little distasteful that a black woman, unfortunately, had to be the main villain here. But when we again in an environment where we're trying to repair the quote unquote the so-called black image, all right, because just like our native brothers and sisters, just like our Hispanic or Latin brothers and sisters, again, that's a name given to them that does not encompass who they are. Spain don't have nothing to do with this. Rome don't have nothing to do with this. That's where Latin is. Come on now. Again, we're not making we don't give no more excuses. That's why you see me do that hashtag a lot in my different social medias, those who know me and all that kind of thing. There's no more. What are we doing? In my life, anyone's. When you want something else, you gotta let go of the excuses. Right? So again, these weapons of defense, this is why you see this kind of mess. What's in the mind? They look at their brother and sister like they're trash, so that's what they do. They treat them like trash, family. That's why black folks won't be on the come up until we come away from that mess. Again, let me say it again. Black folks won't be on the come up till we come away from that mess. It don't matter how many of us you see on a commercial. It don't matter how many of us you see up in wrestling. Shout out AEW, WWE, Ring of Honor, and all this other stuff, right? Again, we're not even putting TNA and all that in there because, again, TNA it's being acquired, family. It's been acquired. Let's just stop the hoax. Okay, ain't nobody repping TN. WWE is a big company. Don't rep its competition unless it owns it. Never mind, right? So I mean, this is anything, by the way. You don't see Walmart cross. We just say what it is. You don't see Walmart cross advertising Target, family. See, they've turned business into warfare. That's not what business is. That's what it has been. Listen to how I said it. It's what's been turned into. Carter G. Woodson makes a very, very clear point that you can find in the book, The Miseducation of the Negro. Again, all these things tie into this movie, Tron Ares, where people are competing for something when they ought to be banding together. Jared Leto's character, right, realized this. And he was like, the hell with the program. We gonna do this a different way. Family, that's what it's gonna take. You will be hunted. Listen to me clearly. Shout out to that white pastor standing up in Chicago for people, right? And the government shooting that man in the head with some pepper ball bomb, whatever they're using, because this is what it is, okay? That's the images you need to keep in the forefront of your mind, because see, we act like history ain't a thing. But folks blew away each other standing for freedom. Come on now, somebody. There was an opposing group that didn't want you free. Say it in Christian terms. They don't want you blessed, to be a blessing. That's not the, that's, you got to, in their mind, this is what they have come, this is what it is. You are dealing with things in folks' mind, family. Why in the home would a man only think they are of worth? This is how sick this has become. They are of worth when they look a certain way. And just, come on now. From the haircut to the dress, sneakers, shoes, pants, underwear. Come on now. There's this, again, we have already gone over the information. Pink used to be the color that boys were given as kids. And blue was for girls, y'all. This is something you can look up. Who is telling you this information and what makes you masculine or feminine? Another thing that we've been talking about here as we come to the close. We've been talking about the universal laws. One of them that we will get into, again, we've been talking about it on TikTok. Some of them I've been trying to share here on Spotify, but again, in the spirit of getting out the info, some of this stuff we have put on TikTok, okay? Get notoriety for the podcast and stuff like that. You're told to put your light on the hill. What a better place. You know, while every Christian was crying the blues during COVID, they stopping us from assembling. Ain't nobody stopped you from assembling. So you believe in miracles. So this is what we don't believe what we're saying. And we're all subject to this, right? But again, do not be ashamed to call it out. This is what you believe in and talk about it. You don't get better if you don't talk about it, because life is in the words. So you got to talk, you got to speak it. Okay? I'm just telling you what the Bible says. I'm not making this up, right? If you believe that much during COVID, right? And God got you, and He's the healer, the provider, so on and so forth, which we don't discredit that. I don't. Others do. That's their business, right? Then why would y'all have a problem sharing the church service, singing service, whatever, on healing service? Don't y'all remember these old school preachers? They put their hand on the camera and all that kind of stuff, right? For healing and stuff. But now this comes, it's like the stage is set and we're failing an open book test, family. That's why I say it that way. We all do in different levels. This is why for the know-it-alls, I don't know what y'all talking about, because you don't know it. We all have not arrived, but we do continue to press forward toward the higher calling, family, right? Ain't that what your Bible says? And there's a higher way of doing this. You droning away 12 hours a day at work. Come on, family. Listen. The man know they got you. the man know they got you. We get into this sometimes with relationships that go sideways, right? And it's been a minute since we've talked on relationships. To an extent. And to tie off that whole thing with image and all this kind of stuff, family, let that go. Healthy lifestyles is healthy lifestyles, and that thing may look different at 180 pounds. We're talking for men and women, okay? That thing will look different at 150, 250, whatever it is to match your body type. Everybody ain't got the same body type. Who the hell? See, but again, you know what? Most of this mess came from some masculine garbage somewhere. You just have to look a certain way. No, you don't. Should you be presentable on certain levels? Yes, family. Does that mean you go around looking bummy all the time? Again, me personally, no. If you're going into certain places, family, they already know how they're gonna look at you. If you, it depends on what it is, right? Because each criteria is different of its own. You gotta, there's certain parts you gotta play. Okay. Listen, this is about surviving and thriving, family. You understand what has been set here. We didn't set this battle, but in order to you gotta understand, family. You look at Obi-Wan. I know people have a problem with the TV show Obi-Wan on some levels, or what they could have did more with it and all that. Look, when the Empire rocking, family, there's a certain, you just don't come up in there blasting. It's okay, man. People gonna get it. People gonna get it one day, man. That's why I say we're gonna get it, and when we get it, it's gonna look beautiful. Yeah, Tron Ares was a good movie. This, this is when. Let me at least say this just to tie in some things. So y'all, again, KJ's Clock. If you want to, see some of these episodes, because that's what we've been talking about. Where we've been talking about the universal laws. So again, we're going by 12. I know there's different places have different ones, but again, just to give y'all a recap, we're at the fourth one, right? So one is divine oneness. Okay, we are all connected. You ain't got to believe it for it to be true. We are all connected. Okay, the Maker made it that way. Number two is the law of vibration, I believe. I think the way the list goes, it's either attraction or vibration. Matter of fact, I think attraction is second, actually. So the law of attraction, which again, what you're putting out attracts back to you. That's real. Okay, kind of tying in with the third one, which is vibration. Again, if you want to discredit that which is in humming sounds, we know light things have a certain vibration and energy to them, family, in you personally. See, again, as a person thinks, so they are. We know that birds of a feather flock together, family. That's why we were just mentioning a while ago, as far as families be holding hands through the storms of life. We gotta make it cool, family, huh? See, while they make it okay, you just walk away from this and just walk away from that, baby daddies and mamas all over the place. We talking about even in poly relationships, which is why I do not get on open relationships. I don't. Folks want to call it adultery and all that kind of thing. It's your business. Again, over here, by the definition of the word, when it's talking about having sex with a married woman or married man, this is something talking about behind the back. This is not everybody knows. So I understand where y'all are coming from with this, and we trying to have holiness and purity with sex, but there are two different deals here. Okay. That's y'all take it for what it is. And again, I think a lot of people have set up for relationships to not be long-term. They're okay dealing in the short term. By the time you start getting into the deep end of the pool and that thing hits 5 and 7 and 10, 12, 25, people are not, it's weird, right? We're not set up for that. But you got to understand, long suffering. See, that's why it's said that way, long suffering. Let's go, man. It's called long suffering for a reason. Not really because of the suffering part. Not because of the suffering part. Okay, I understand spouses be thinking they suffering through this thing, man. Again, you was in high school, right? Ladies, right? Because normally this is where this is coming from. Fellas is in there too. Fellas, we gotta be careful how we talk about women, man. Again, if you were the head setter, you the one, we the ones, right? Shout out Roman Reigns, and we put the ones in the sky and acknowledge me, right? So if then you gotta set the table, you gotta set the tone on how you treating that woman in your life, family. Brothers, come on now. Stop all that down talking these machismo cats is doing. That ain't, nope. No. And yeah, we said machismo. This ain't no shot at our Latin brothers and sisters. This is exactly what it is. The woman is that you look across each family. Good God in heaven, help me say it today, man. You look across each, this is just talking about relationships. And again, there's no real kind of relationship in Tron Aries per se. They don't really play around with that much, but looking out for each other. There's some danger involved. Again, we had talked about this black actress there. My apologies, sister, I don't know your name. But where she plays the role of the villain well, hunting down people in the name of massa. Again, family, this one we ain't brought up yet. So this is a brand new one, right? Meritorious manumissions. Come on, somebody. We talking, see, this is for folks that keep putting this mess in their mouth about Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom was trying to set the slave free in the book Uncle Tom. But Sambo, though. And that's why I say it's unfortunate while we're trying to build up a black image to see a black woman as a villain, right? I had the same issue with Jamie Foxx's Electro in the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Again, we're trying to build up the image. Y'all already see, most folks, let me say it that way, already see the black person. This is where this whole trope about white women clutching their purse closer and all this kind of, and again, with black folks, we don't, it's like you have to be in with some part of the club or some understanding or family. You just come up and say hello to folks. We ain't, come on now, right? It's unfortunate you go into retail stores, right? People get mad that folks are saying hello, yet the reason people are saying hello to you in the store is because folks was mad folks weren't saying hello. Which one do we want, y'all? Do we know? This is why we are infected with greed that comes from, and I like saying massa. I don't like making it spooky. We part of Halloween season. I know folks like getting on the devil and all this other, and God and all that kind of thing, family. A lot of this has been put in our court. The energies we have been given, and I do recognize and acknowledge this energies we are given. This doesn't come from nowhere. There's no shot on anybody else who believes that's your business, okay? But at the end of the day, this is, what are we doing? Like I said, I was coming to the close. I'm not. We don't want to keep y'all long, family. This is, again, like we normally say, most of these things are already proven. It's just taking us a minute to catch on, right? That's just what it is. So again, divine oneness, attraction, vibration. We put out a vibration. The people in our lives, maybe we putting out a vibration, family. While issues and problems are going to come, you're going to have the wolf at your door. Sometimes if you got like an excess of this kind of stuff, it's time to check ourselves and see what energy we're putting out there, right? And again, as it said, what vibe we're putting out there, right? The next one where we stopped was correspondence. And we're going to continue on TikTok about it. So again, at KJ's Clock, that's my handle on TikTok. If y'all want to, subscribe to it this way when I go live, y'all will know. And we'll go from there and have some have some conversation on the law of correspondence. But again, actions go along with all this, family. We can't, the energy we put out and stuff like that's all well and good. Which technically in saying that is actions. Okay, so words, how we feel about ourselves. Again, these things are all, so the actions to correspond that is, you better start again. It tells you in scripture, do not think more highly of yourself than you ought to think. That means that you should think highly of yourself. And it is clear that we don't think highly of ourselves, y'all. There's certain mess you would not put up with when you think highly of yourself. We're talking about inside the lines of life and godliness and keeping the dice rolling, like Buster says, that they always do these breakdowns on these different social media videos and all that kind of. Let me show you how to keep the dice over there when you're doing that thing, homie. Yeah. This is how you keep the dice rolling, family, as we're doing our thing out here. Start thinking highly of yourself. You are not what your daddy told you you were. You are not what your mama told you you were. See, again, the pool, like we said it on the last TikTok live, right? There's poo-poo and pee-pee in the pool, family, when we're talking about our elders. We just got to say what it is, okay? There's no shot at them. You just got to understand who you're dealing with. Unfortunately, parents don't talk this way, right? Because there has to be a level of order and stuff like that kept in the household, and we don't discredit that. I'm not saying that that's not necessary as the balance between chaos and control and or order. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have that, but we know that thing done went too far. We already know. We're not guessing. We're not trying to. We already know. And meanwhile, while you got too much order the other way, you got kids running all around the stores making it messier. This is another one. How can you go up in a store talking about how messy it is, yet we as consumers are leaving mess all over the place for these people to clean that you already know massa is not going to put enough people in the stores to get it clean, as we all come in there consuming like zombies, messing up the place. Huh? How does that work? Yeah, we got greed in the eyes, y'all. I know Ja Rule did a whole album, Blood in My Eye, and all that back in the early 2000s. But family, we got greed in the eyes, man. Murder Inc. Yeah, we got. Yeah, man, we glorifying death, family. That's not. Nope. No more. No more. Right. Us here on A Different View. It's life and godliness now, right? So subscribe to the podcast. Again, it's on Apple, it's on Spotify, of course, it's on Pandora. At A Different View. Artist name is KJ. On YouTube, it's at A Different View 80. This one will also, this one we're doing right now will appear on YouTube. So do the TikTok ones. So they're on there as well if you wanted to catch up through YouTube. Again, the channel is the @ symbol, A Different View 80. Right, you're gonna see KJ, you're gonna see my name there, right? And then from there, again, comments are the fuel and the engine to the machine. We believe it. Interaction is necessary, family. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. Your words typed on that thing, family, is also life and death. So we listen. Share your views, share your thoughts on these things. Let's keep that dice rolling, right? Go see Tron Ares. Good movie. Where I'm getting these laws from, family, is a book from Manhardeep, Manhardeep. Singh, again, Singh. The name of the book is The 12 Universal Laws. Okay, it's actually on Spotify, right? It's an audiobook on Spotify that y'all can check out. If you subscribe to my, or if you follow me on Spotify, again, KJ, right? You'll see it there, as I got it saved under my playlist. So, different ways that we can get this information out there, family, because there's way too much misinformation, miseducation. We have to be re-educated, unfortunately, and we can do it. We have the mind and the capacity to do it. So, family, thank you for walking this road with me today. A little 38-minute ditty. Thank you for walking this road with me today. And as always, and until next time, look to find the beauty in A Different View.